Jambyl Region, the city of Taraz. At first glance, it doesn't differ from the usual modern cities of Kazakhstan. But in a more than 2,000-year-long history of Taraz, there are pages telling a lot of interesting stories not only of the city itself, but also of the whole Kazakhstan. There are about 1,500 monuments of culture. Some of them have come to us since the Paleolithic era on the territory of modern Taraz. Historians claim that the underground of Taraz, at a depth of several tens of meters, unique ancient structures are preserved. They are of a great importance to archaeologists around the world. This place is closely connected to the history of famous ancient tribes such as Saks, Uisuns, Kangli and Alan. Taraz is the city located on the Great Silk Road, which is the great network of ancient trade caravan routes leading from China to the Middle East and Europe. These facts suggest not only that ancient Taraz was one of the largest commercial and handicraft centers, it was the place for the interpenetration of many different civilizations and cultures. Scientists believe that one of the first constructions in ancient Taraz was Citadel, which was the residence of the sovereign lady, where the goods, weapons and executions were stored. Wealthy merchants, artisans and visiting traders lived near the citadel. The Great Silk Road carried not only goods, but it also spread religious ideas. Taraz was no exception. From India through Central Asia and East Turkestan came Buddhism. From Syria, Iran and Arabia, Christianity spread, and later Islam. There are remains of a very ancient mosque that archaeologists discovered in 2006. Judging by the design of the structure and composition of the building material, the remains are dated back to 9th–12th centuries. This period historians call early Islam. It is believed that the original appearance of the mosque has not changed. Ancient Taraz was the city with the developed technologies. There was invented a unique water supply. There was a working sewerage. There were roads and bridges. Taraz residents knew a lot about good baths. This is despite the fact that in other cities of Central Asia there were no baths at all. Nearly a century ago, a rich merchant of Taraz, Kali Yunus, has immortalized his name in that by financing the construction of the original baths here, an area of over 300 square meters. Over the past century, the building was restored several times, and today it is an object of close interest for residents and visitors alike. In 2007, History Museum of the Great Silk Road opened here. Each room here belongs to a certain period of time. During its existence, the city of Taraz changed its name several times: Talas, Taraz, Tarazyana and Namangankanj. There was a time when the city was called Aliye Ata. That was the name of the founder of Karakhanid dynasty, in whose honor the most magnificent mausoleum was erected. In 1936, the city was renamed, and for several years it was named after Mirzoyan. Then a few decades later, the city was called Jambyl after the famous Kazakh poet. And after Kazakhstan's independence, ancient city was returned to its original name, Taraz. After all, this is how it was called by our ancestors. They built it, the new generation preserved it. The city's atmosphere is filled with a certain spirit of the East, leisurely, contemplative and serene. Here you can relax from the hustle and think about your life in a different way. Of course, only those can do that who are in tune. And they say that the local beautiful girls were admired even by Omar Khayyam. He devoted his poems to them. However, this region has inspired and to this day continues to inspire many poets, musicians and a variety of arts ministers. After all, this area is literally littered with touching legends, and here is one of them. Once upon a time, a very well-known person at the time had a daughter, Aisha Bibi. Her beauty is indescribable. The fame of the young lady dispersed around the region. Naturally, many wanted to get her favor, but the heart of the beautiful girl was won by a brave warrior, Karahan. But the lover was not destined to her. Aisha suddenly dies of a snake bite. Tortured by grief, Karahan ordered to build a mausoleum for his beloved girl. A mausoleum for himself the warrior ordered during his lifetime to build so that it is in line with the mausoleum of Aisha Bibi. They say that if you stand back to the mausoleum of Karahan, you can see the beautiful tomb of Aisha Bibi. Residents have a special attitude towards both mausoleums, and couples just come here as they believe that this visit will bring them happiness. Here's a real love, a feeling that can survive and travel through centuries. Silent messengers of the centuries, these stone images of people mesmerize not only experienced ancestors, now they have a genuine interest of the entire scientific community. Stone sculptures were installed back in the pre-Islamic period on the burial places, and they were revered by people. There are no exact names of the stone statues. Often they are called balbals, but according to scientists, the word balbal means nothing. That name stuck for a long time, and no one yet knows how. The emergence of balbals is linked with the period of occurrence of the Turkic Khaganate, around the 1st century Anno Domini. A large number of such monuments are found in areas of Merka and Jaysan of the Jambyl region. Researchers attributed the stone statues to the most valuable objects of archaeology. Many of the scientists found the statues to be preserved in their original form. Ancient masters gave elongated stones the shape of the human figure that clearly outlines the face. Therefore, the so-called balbals, though not as dramatically but still differ from each other. Each balbal personified the image of a specific person. By this way, you can determine the identity of its prototype to a particular caste, whether it is the leader, his spouse, or their servants. There is no plan to put already discovered and undiscovered balbals in museums and repositories. Under the State Program for the Conservation of Cultural Heritage of the territory of Merka and Jaysan, the landscape park was created where the largest number of stone statues is located.